Hi guys, Aubrey here with an update. I wanted to let you know where I am with the process. I went to see my dietitian in the meantime since I've uploaded the last video. Actually, quite a bit has happened. I saw my dietitian for the first time. I also had an appointment with what I thought was going to be my surgeon, but ended up being his physician's assistant, who's also in the room during the surgery. Both meetings were great, very successful. I felt good after each meeting as far as, they were both very knowledgeable and helpful. I want to talk a little bit about my dietitian's visits before I give you my stats and let you know kind of what's going on. I went in there to see her, and she basically just got a lot of information from me. I have 6 of these visits to go to, and this first one was just going to be kind of gathering information about where I am in all of this, and I'm expecting she's probably going to give me a lot more direction going forward. But as far as this meeting goes, I had to be brutally honest about what I'm eating. And that's kind of hard because a lot of times I'm not even honest with myself about what I'm eating. So, most mornings I'll have a mocha. That's almost 500 calories right there. And then most days at lunch, I will have some sort of fast food. So she wanted to take baby steps with me, and I really appreciate that because I think sometimes we try to just go from 0 to 60 all at once, and it's just not something that is sustainable for me anyway. And some people need that. Some people need to just like cut it off and toe the line and do what they got to do. But for me, I'm in this for the long haul, and I agreed with her that what would work best for me is making small changes along the way. They did say that they would like me to lose 5% of my body weight, and that would be between 12 and 15 pounds. I think that's completely doable in 6 months. I'm thinking about 3 pounds a month. She basically asked for me to go on no fast food. She actually switched me to those frozen meals at lunch, the Weight Watchers approved smart ones or whatever it is. They're high protein. They do have high protein ones. They're not all high protein, but I'm supposed to focus on high protein and low carb. Like I said, cutting out the fast food. And I've switched my mochas to tea. And then I also have, I can have coffee at home if I want with just a basic creamer. So I don't have to cut out coffee altogether if I don't want to. But if I want to go to Starbucks and treat myself, I can do a green iced tea, which I really like. So I don't have to completely deprive myself during this whole process, which I think is key for me to be able to stick with this. So that being said, it's been just over a week since I met with the dietitian, and I am now 266.6. So I was at 272.2 when I went in for my first appointment with the dietitian and the physician's assistant. That was my starting weight on this whole process. High weight was 288. Starting weight was 272.2, and I am now 266.6, and I'm 5'6". So it is working. What I'm doing is working. I have seen that when I get on the scale every day, it definitely goes like this, and I need to really be careful about getting on every day, and because it is discouraging, I think, sometimes to see the 266.6 one day and then the next day it's 268, and I feel like, oh, I haven't really made any progress, so I can't really enjoy that success because I'm constantly jumping on the scale again. But I'm claiming it, the 266.6, and that's what I'm going to go off of next week to see whether I have gained or lost. So that's pretty good. Even, after surgery, I think 3 to 4 pounds a week is going to be really great. Although in the beginning weeks, I think you'll lose much more kind of just starting out. So 3 pounds, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. 6 pounds. That's pretty good. I'm counting on my fingers. Okay. So, anyway, so I just want to let you know what was going on with that. They did schedule me for an endoscopy. And I didn't know what that was when they scheduled it for me, so I had to ask. So let me just tell you. So basically they put a scope down your throat, and the doctor, the surgeon, gets to take a first-hand look at what's happening in your esophagus and your stomach area. And then at that time, after he takes a look with the endoscopy, the doctor will give me his recommendation as far as whether I should go with VSG or RNY. So for those newcomers, the VSG is the vertical sleeve gastrectomy, and RNY is the gastric bypass. So I was absolutely set on vertical sleeve gastrectomy. I mean, you can see my tag name on YouTube is VSG Aubrey. I was absolutely certain that that's what I was going to do. After talking with my surgeon's office and doing a little bit of kind of rethinking things, I might be switching to gastric bypass. The reason is because I've been having a lot of acid reflux, and actually I'm kind of dealing with that right this second, but it even keeps me up at night. I can't seem to eat hardly anything without having an acid reflux reaction. That has been fairly recent, within the last couple of months, where I'm taking daily some kind of a medication for acid reflux, just over the counter. And it makes me concerned about a hiatal hernia. And the doctor wants to take a look at that too. So during the endoscopy, they'll be able to see if I do have a hiatal hernia. In which case, they did say that the doctor would most likely recommend the RNY or gastric bypass versus the VSG. I wanted to tell you about why I chose VSG. I alluded in my last video that I was going to talk about that, and I really haven't. I'm going to go through why I chose VSG and then why I may be reconsidering, and I would love your guys' feedback. I noticed I have 7 subscribers now, which is awesome. I'm not looking for a fan club, but I am looking for other people who are going through what I'm going through and people to share this process with. So I can't see who has subscribed and who hasn't. If you've subscribed to me, I would love to subscribe to you and see how you're doing. So just leave a comment under the video and I can see who that is. Let me know that you've subscribed and I'll go check out what you're doing. And so that would be great. So anyway, I'm going to go through why I chose VSG to begin with. The one thing was I really liked that the part of the stomach that was removed with VSG was also the part of the stomach that produced the ghrelin hormone. And the ghrelin hormone is what basically is a hunger hormone. It's what tells your brain that you're hungry. That was a big deal to me. Also, when you do the vertical sleeve gastrectomy, the part of the stomach that they remove, if you look at an anatomical illustration of the esophagus and the stomach, the part of the stomach that kind of loops up and around like that, the very top part right there, that is the fundus. And the fundus is actually the stretchy part of the stomach. So if you eat too much and you stretch out your stomach, that's the part that expands. And with the vertical sleeve gastrectomy, they actually remove that part of the stomach as well. They just leave you with basically a tube, or as the name suggests, a sleeve. So I liked that a lot, that stretchy part was going to be gone. And then I had also read that it was an easier recovery. And I do have to think about how quickly I can get back to work. So that was a big concern for me as well. Also, dumping syndrome with the gastric bypass. Dumping syndrome is I'm just not going to take for granted that everybody knows all the different terms when you watch my videos, so I'm just going to tell you really quick. Dumping syndrome is you get flu-like symptoms, you get very sick if you eat something that's too high in sugar or too high in fat, something that your body rejects. With the VSG, if your body's rejecting something, as far as I have researched, you simply throw it up. And it's not the difficult regurgitation process that you might have right now before surgery. It's actually just, you simply just get rid of the food. All of those gastric acids aren't in there anymore, and so it's not nearly as unpleasant. But anyway, dumping syndrome, there's vomiting, intense stomach aches, fever, sweats. Basically, you're gonna, some people during certain episodes feel like they should call the ambulance kind of thing, but you're fine. It's just something that your body is telling you, I cannot have this sugar and this high fat anymore. So I am concerned about that. I don't really want that. So those are the main reasons why I chose vertical sleeve gastrectomy. Now let me tell you why I'm considering changing my mind. I did talk about the GERD or the acid reflux. I did learn that when you do have the RNY, the ghrelin hormone is also eliminated from the digestion process, and it's because that part of your stomach is removed from the equation. It's still in there and intact. It's not physically removed, but it's actually cut off and still attached to the intestine down there. And but that ghrelin hormone stays within that leftover pouch. It doesn't come in contact with the food as it's digesting in the pouch or the stomach. So the ghrelin hormone is also kind of taken out of the equation, and it does help you not feel hungry. So found out that that would help as far as the hunger goes. Also figured out that you know, I was concerned about the fundus being removed, and that with RNY that you would still have the possibility for stretching. Well, I've learned that with the vertical sleeve that the sleeve can actually be stretched out over time as well. So it's not as black and white as I thought it was, as far as, you know, what's what I'm going to be left with in the end, whether my stomach will have the ability to stretch out or not. It basically can stretch no matter what. Also, I was thinking, you know, maybe the dumping's not such a bad thing. Maybe it's kind of good to know that if I eat these things, I will get sick. I think that's the problem, is that these foods literally are poisoning us to death, and we see them as okay. We see them as good. Like, I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to have something good. Well, it's not good. You know, honestly, look where it's got me. I don't want it anymore. So if it's less of an option, and if I know I'm going to get deathly ill, or that there's a possibility that I would get deathly ill, then I'm going to avoid it. So maybe that's not such a bad thing. Also, my surgeon's office, the physician's assistant that I spoke to, she kind of mentioned it's, you know, RNY is kind of the gold standard. Years and years of experience has told us that RNY does work, and not just now, but in the future, and you know, 30, 40, 50 years from now. What is the vertical sleeve going to do to my system? I don't know for sure. So that's definitely a consideration. So another thing is, I know if I do the VSG that I can get a revision to the gastric bypass down the road if I don't see enough weight loss, or if I have a problem with the acid reflux. However, I'm not looking at this as like a stair-step procedure where, oh, I could have the gastric bypass later if I want to. I kind of see this as do it once and do it right. You know, gastric bypass is going to give me the highest, yield on weight loss, and I'm not going to have to revise it if I have an issue with acid reflux. I guess about 20 to like 21% or something like that of people with the vertical sleeve have an issue with GERD that they have to continue to treat for years after the surgery or even forever. So that's a big deal to me. I kind of wanted to mention really quick, I'm going to wrap this up. I know it's getting long, but I wanted to mention that when I met with my dietitian, I felt a little bit discouraged actually, because she said that, well, where do you see yourself getting after this surgery? And I said, well, my ideal weight is anywhere from 118 to 155. I don't want to be unrealistic. I'm going to say 150 or 145. Because I want to be a normal, healthy weight. I don't want to be overweight or obese. And she says, well, when was the last time you were that weight? And I said, high school, early high school. And she just kind of brushed it off and was like, well, you know, you can't expect to get down to what you were in high school. Well, yeah, clearly I can't expect to get down to what I was in high school. But I think aiming for a healthy body weight is not too much to ask for. I'm not going to go through this whole surgery just to end up still being obese. She put me with just the surgery alone and not really doing further work beyond the surgery. She put me at 185. That would be 1 pound away from obese. I'm not doing this surgery to still be obese. I'm just not. I'm going to have to do the work, and I'm going to have to go beyond what just this tool is going to do to help me. But that's just the way it is. I'm not going to go through all of this and still end up being overweight. I'm going to get down to a healthy weight, and that's just the way it is. So I guess time will tell. I just said okay and went along the way, and yeah, maybe 185 can be my first goal, but that's not going to be my end all, because there's no way I'm just shooting for 185. So anyway, all right, thanks for listening. I wanted to talk a little bit more. I kind of have a little bit of a rant to share with you on my next video, but I'm going to end this one. We're at 17 minutes. I'm so sorry. Apparently I talk a lot. Okay, talk to you guys later. Bye.